Something.
Thank you all so much for coming. Stage lights are on, so I can't see any of you, but by round of applause, who is here for the very first time? Awesome, this entire rows, great. You are here at the newest home in New York City for nerding the fuck out. 60 times a month, you can come here, see something extraordinary, smart, fun here on stage while you're drinking, eating, hanging out with your friends. The idea is you leave here a little bit smarter and a little bit drunker. Does that sound like a good idea? Good. I know this audience versus audience is always in exactly the right place. My name is Ben Lilly, I'm one of the founders here. Like I said, we do 60 shows a month, all kinds of different things here. We just closed a musical about the burning of the Library of Alexandria. Look for that in about 6 months to a year. Sorry about that. We have a bunch of other different kinds of shows. We have a show called Ride or Die Oregon Trail Live, which is exactly what it sounds like. The next one of those is on April 420. Thank you, you're coming, great. We also have a show called Jokes Engineered, where an audience member presents a problem to our panel of an engineer and a comedian, and they both design a solution to the problem, and then explain how they got there. And tomorrow, in honor of the launch of Game of Thrones, we will host a trivia party and screening of Game of Thrones called Winter is Up Next, because copyright. You can find all of those and a lot of different things on our website, caveat.nyc. We're always looking for people to get involved in the kinds of things that we do here. If you're an expert or a performer who wants to get involved in these kinds of performances where we blend academics with entertainment, I'd love to talk to you. Come find me during the intermission or after the show. If you can't find me, you can always talk to Nick or John behind the bar. They will get you to where you need to know. They will get you to where you need to know. That is a high task, which they probably can't do, but they will get you to where you need to go. And on that topic, a giant round of applause for John and Nick behind the bar getting you the drinks. Please tip them well. You all know that, but I'm still going to remind you. A couple things you need to know before we start the show. Bathrooms, if you need to use them, are through the curtains where you came in, and to the right, emergency exits are either side of the tech booth in the back of the room. And finally, this is a residential neighborhood, but also it's a weekend on the Lower East Side, so be quiet, but you'll be fine. With that, are you ready for verses? You're kind of ready, but guys, this is a Saturday night. It is late. This is Versus, where we pit academics against each other. Are you ready for Versus? All right, then please welcome to the stage your host and referee for the evening, Meg Pearson.
Ooh, I don't need y'all either.
talk about it.
Oh my God!
Like I don't know nobody. Like I don't know nobody. I guess I don't.
What is going on, New York? Oh my God! Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Meg Pearson, and I am delighted to see each and every one of you here. You may be thinking to yourself, she's flushed. And the answer is yes, but also I have a sunburn because it was fucking gorgeous today. Yes! Oh my God, y'all, my little brother is in town and he is great. Guys, he's right here and he's wonderful. Yes. So we went to Coney Island and it was great, and we went to the aquarium and there were, look at this, the lights, and we were underwater, and I saw a sea lion do a dance, and as soon as I saw the sea lion, I cried. I wept today for the beauty of a sea lion. Give it the fuck up. Yes. Oh, guys, ladies and gentlemen, that was great. I cried there, but I am about to sweat and cry tears of absolute ecstasy. Welcome to Versus, the only show that has ever mattered in the history of the earth. I am delighted that each and every one of them's like, oh no, there's been shows about the Bible. Yes! But this one's better. Yes. Guys, if you have trivia seats or trivia pieces of paper, go ahead and rise those on up. Hold them up, and our wonderful producer, Diana, give it up for Diana! Yes! She is great. The person who just wolf whistled is her boyfriend and has her consent. So, caveat, you guys can calm down, it's okay. Guys, remember, get more drinks, get more alcohol. I look funnier when you do. And remember, friends, April showers bring May flowers, so I need y'all to make it rain on those bartenders tonight. Right? Yes. That was damn good. I'm pretty pleased with that. Guys, what you are about to see are two teams, two topics, and one winner decided by you, our sweet audience. Each one of you received a poker chip, which you are going to be using to vote later on. You are going to hear arguments from professional scientific hype men, joined by extra professional experts in their fields, and then you get to vote on the winner. Guys, you're going to be voting for who argued their point better. Don't just come in here thinking, I've made up my mind. Shelley, I already know who I'm voting for. I do not care. No, you're not voting for your favorite. You're voting for the one that kicks ass. Yes, and so you will. I have total faith. And if you're like, why? What's at stake, Meg? Why does it matter? They're competing for this. Yes. Don't bite it. It's plastic, and it's been on my exposed body. But I have good news for all of you. It's not just me sweating and sunburned up here alone, because I am delighted to welcome to the stage right now a man who knows exactly where to put his fingers to test for your pulse. A man who loves good brain activity. Ladies and gentlemen, much like the Savior he looks like, he can be buried for 3 days and be risen indeed, repping alive. Welcome to the stage, Zach Bonalucci!
How you guys doing tonight? Yeah!
Yes! Woo, Zach, woo!
When did you come up with that last one? That was intense.
I'm glad that you asked. It was in line at Coney Island at Nathan's Hot Dogs, and my brother helped. He did not
Thank
know
you.
it would be a sex joke. But there we are. My brother and I have never talked about sex, nor does he know that I know what it is. So no one tell him. Whoops. Anyway, Zach, I love you so much.
I love you too.
There's someone else that I also love who's going to be joining us on this stage tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, I need you right now to welcome to the stage a man who knows a thing or two about rigor mortis. A man, oh, settle down. It's not fucking a dead person. All right. It was vaguely about fucking a dead person, but it's fine. Guys, a man who once tried to get George Romero to adopt him. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that he is buried 6 feet deep because repping death. Welcome to the stage, Dustin Grower!
Oh shit, yeah, one time. Oh shit, everybody start running. It's a one time coming.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. I have no idea what either of those last 2 jokes were.
Oh, George
No,
Romero?
okay.
No?
You said them with such enthusiasm. I'm excited for that, though.
Who knows who George Romero is? Anybody? Yes, thank you, Night of the Living
4
Dead.
people.
Oh,
It's like, oh, all right.
fantastic. All right, Dustin Grower,
Yeah.
how are you living tonight?
I'm drinking, but I feel great.
Oh, excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. While you're drinking, I've been drinking, and I need you. I've been drinking.
You've been drinking?
I've been filthy when that liquor get into me. Guys, stop it. That's enough. Please flank me hard. Guys, here's what we're about to do. We're going to go through some rules right now.
Okay.
We need to settle some things. First of all, do not use jargon. If you or your expert use jargon and do not explain it immediately, and yes, I determine what the jargon is. If I know what it is, I'm not blowing the whistle, audience. So I will be blowing this whistle. It'll be shrill like my judgment, and you'll have to explain it. Also, guys, let's talk a little bit about sports. The Masters is on. They don't use these in golf. But if they did, we would give them for gross misconduct. And here's a fun little news flash, friends. I will give them to you too. So I've definitely done it, and someone was very embarrassed. So 1, it's just a show. But 2, also, please don't be a dick. That seems pretty straightforward. Guys.
It goes for you too.
Oh, shit. Dustin, Zach, tell me who you repping tonight.
Go ahead, sir.
I am representing Team Alive tonight. Woo! Yeah, life. Life.
There's no way I can come to this stage wearing a dinosaur shirt and not rep Team Dead. Obviously. Zach, but we should mention, like,
I'd
before
like to point out I am also wearing a dinosaur shirt.
That's true. That's true. Birds are dinosaurs.
But
Well
they're
done.
alive.
Yeah, they wouldn't be
Suck.
here if it weren't for
Suck
these
it.
guys first, though. Anyway, we should. I think we should start by mentioning that, like, this is kind of a heavy, fraught
Yes.
topic,
This
right?
is
A lot of
this
times
is
we have stuff
intense.
like last month was roller coasters and rockets. You can make all right, some roller coaster and rocket fans, but you can make like objective arguments, right?
Yeah.
But these two are kind of inextricably linked.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. We could go down some like very scary existential crisis rabbit holes. We could talk really intense
a little in the prep.
philosophy. We're not going to do that tonight, though. We're not going to do that tonight.
We're going to keep it
I promise.
light,
Not gonna do it.
for sure. We're going to keep it light. We're going to talk about some of the most amazing things that are alive, as well as some of the most amazing things that are
Yes.
dead, like dinosaurs.
No, but also, what about birds?
I meant non-avian dinosaurs.
No, I think there are better living things out there. Like this entire fucking room here of
Yeah, they're
humans.
great. They're great.
Yeah, thank you. We are alive. We have created some of the most amazing things on this planet. We made caveat. What else do we have? We have friendship. That's pretty cool. Chocolate. Sex.
Keep going. Keep going. What do we
There's
got?
a lot of things.
Yeah?
It's clothing. I couldn't think of anything else.
All right, you're right. There's a lot of amazing things that make up our lives, but our lives would have no purpose if it wasn't for death itself. The fact that we have an end to this life imparts meaning upon our lives. In fact, the entire evolutionary process that has led to all of these people actually existing here wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't work without death.
You're killing me over here.
Literally.
I don't think that's true, Dustin. I very much think that death could not exist without life first, right? The concept of death could literally not be a thing without life to start
how
us
can you
off.
live without
Yeah,
death,
just
though?
doesn't. We're getting ahead of
without
ourselves.
killing
We're
things?
good. This is what the whole show is about.
This is, yeah, okay.
I'm going to bring on my expert. He'll help me with this. Guys, my expert tonight is an animal lover and animal educator. He works on the live exhibition team at the American Museum of Natural History. He gets to play with all sorts of crazy animals. And on the side, he's also an actor. Literally just came from a commercial shoot, which is pretty dope. So please, put your hands together for John Fuentes! Woo! Yeah, doesn't it feel good to be alive?
Woo! All right. It's all right. That was cute.
That's right.
It's a good song choice.
Oh, wow.
John, welcome to the stage. I'm sorry, I have to dwarf you with my expert. I am so excited. Exactly. You guys, my expert has written for Forbes. She's written for Nat Geo. Humble brag, she's written for Bon Appetit. But most importantly, yeah, right? Most importantly, though, she's a legit, actual dinosaur scientist. She's a paleontologist who has scoured the earth looking for, in her words, the dopest of fossils. Ladies and gentlemen, Shayna Montanari.
Yeah!
Yes! Woo! Yes!
Needs more cowbell, I think.
Needs more cowbell? Slightly more cowbell. Slightly. We'll work on that.
That was a baller song choice on both
All
parts.
around.
Give it up for song choices. Oh my God. Oh no, these things are just falling. Beautiful. Guys, if you will, if I could get everyone to flank me hard, please. Thank you so much.
Can I ask, what is a hard flank versus a soft flank?
Well, a soft flank, you're not really into it, but a hard flank, everybody's into it.
Okay, fair. Okay.
All right, good. Thank you. That was. I'm in heels, so it can't be that hard. This isn't. It's not hard.
You asked.
It's an like an 8 on the
Okay.
scale. Enough of this. Guys, beautiful. So here's what's about to happen right now. We are about to hear from our experts, but we have to decide who's going to go first. So Zach, I have an official coin here, and I need you to determine heads versus tails.
It's a quarter.
Oh, what? Don't they always use quarters?
It's official, though. I love
All
it.
right,
Good.
it's minted by the government.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. So I need you to tell me if it is
Heads.
head. And it is heads! Yes!
Woo!
Beautiful! Thank you to
We're-
the oh no, someone's like, she's gonna fall.
She's wearing
Excellent.
heels, okay?
All right, so it was in fact heads. Are you going first or second?
We're going to go first.
Oh,
yeah,
shit!
we're going to do it.
Right
Makes
now.
sense? Yeah.
Starts with
Ladies and
life.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
and-
Makes sense.
God, you just, okay, they weren't to you, ma'am. They weren't to you. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are about to see right now are presentations by both of our experts. We're going to hear from alive. We're going to hear from dead. Guys, go ahead and put your thinking caps on and drink deeply. And welcome to the stage our first expert, John Fuentes, rapping alive.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. So, let me make sure I get this going. So my name is John Fuentes, and I work for the Museum of Natural History. And for the living exhibit, I'm a living exhibits coordinator, and I think being alive is awesome. Do you guys agree with me? Woo! Woo! So, working for the living exhibits, I work with live animals. Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah. So what you guys just did is exactly what I want to talk about today, because it's about the experience of dealing with live animals. So since I work at the museum and there's a lot of taxidermy, there's a lot of fossils and things like that, every day I'm constantly working with the difference between live and dead things, and seeing how the public actually reacts to it. So one of the things is working in the Butterfly Conservatory. Now, as you can see, look at that kid. Doesn't he look? He's like, oh man, look at that. He's seeing the butterfly. Even the guy in the back, he's kind of like, whoa, look at those trees, look at the butterflies flying. And that's what we want to go for. That's the experience that I think you can't get from something that's dead. There's a big difference between when something is moving and living around you that you just can't get from something that's just mounted or maybe pinned or anything like this. So, right there was holding the butterfly, right? Now, again, you could see this butterfly. This is an owl butterfly, right? It's found in Costa Rica and Central and South America. Now, if I had a pinned butterfly, right? Let's say a butterfly that's already dead. Sure, I could go and I could show you how the wings are for camouflage, right? I could talk about its senses and things like that. But when it's alive and you're actually seeing it happen right before your eyes, it's a completely different experience. I could tell you that butterflies, how do butterflies feed? Well, they have this cool little proboscis. That's like this little tongue that comes out of their nose, where their face. And when I press play, this is exactly what happens. See, they have little sensors on their antenna that are to smell. Now, it's smelling the orange, and you're gonna see Whoa, and slow motion. I mean, come on. You can't have that when something's dead, right? So you're seeing it coming out
true.
right now.
It's true.
You're seeing it how it's feeding, right? You're seeing how it's using its senses of smell, how it's using its sense of taste. And so not only when you're seeing something dead, you're usually just seeing primarily using your sense of sight. Somebody is showing you something, and some people may be telling you facts, but here you're experiencing it. And that's the cool thing about being alive, right? Now, also, there's so many cool things that are alive in nature that you just can't see again when dead. So these are ctenophores. They're known as comb jellies. You could find these right in the Hudson River. Now, when I press play, they have cilia, right? And the cilia, the way they move, actually refracts light. So you see how it changes from blues and greens and yellows. And you can actually see the food inside his body when it just ate. How cool is that? How cool is that? You can see the food that it's eating, all the little brine shrimp that's all around it. You can see it right before your eyes. You could woo, you could ah. You can't do that with something that's dead, right? And another thing that's cool, and I hope the audio is on for this. This is the reaction that really makes me proud when I'm working with live animals. Is when people come into our exhibit, and let's see, and these are pipefish feeding, and then you're gonna hear a dad. Yeah, see, he heard the kid, wow, there's live sharks. And they're also saying, whoa, there's also pipefish and there's seahorses. And that's the cool thing. That is what makes it so much more enjoyable. When you come in and you could experience something that's live the way you can't experience it when it's dead. You can see it how it moves. You can see how it camouflages, how it breeds, how it mates, right? And these guys here, they're called nautilus. These guys are actually known as living fossils. Why they're known as living fossils? Because they've been in this earth for about 500 million years. And for about 500 million years, they relatively have gone unchanged. This is really a living fossil right here in front of you for 500 million years, and it's alive. And it's cool to see them. And look, they look like aliens almost, you know? So that's what makes things awesome. And now the next one, another great thing about life is that you get to see it grow up. Look at this little guy coming out of its egg, becoming a little teenager, into a full-grown adult. Come on. I know you guys want to go, aw. You're more than welcome to. Come on. You can't do that with something that's dead. And of course, not only can you see it grow up and see how cute they are, but they're also very fuzzy and cute. And we get to hold them, and we get to be with them, right? Now, another thing I really want to talk about, because it's something that changed me, and I think it's something that's great in terms for conservation. Now, I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up 15 minutes west from the Bronx Zoo. Now, my parents used to take me all the time to the Bronx Zoo. They really wanted to bestow the natural world on us, right? So we used to go to the zoo constantly. Now, one thing about zoos is that you get to see the live animal there. You get to see your favorite animals, your lions, your tigers, the monkeys, whatever is what you like. Because all of us, sometimes just can't afford to just take a trip to Africa or take a trip to Asia and see these animals out in the wild. And one thing about seeing animals alive, I think, is that it builds empathy for you. And when it builds empathy towards that animal, in terms of conservation, I feel like it's just one of those things that just makes you, since you have the empathy for the animal, when you have the empathy for the natural world, it will make you want to donate $1 or donate $10 or post a tweet about live animals, or post a tweet about conservation and care more about the environment. That way, you just feel more invested in it rather than seeing it from a picture or maybe seeing it as a taxidermy. Once you see something that's alive and you relate to it at that emotional level, I just feel it helps you become a future maybe it lights that spark to become a future biologist or a future mammologist or a scientist or even just want to help the planet in some sort of way. So what I'll end my presentation with is we are on the eve of the Game of Thrones season 8 premiere, right? Right? We are, right? And right now, for you guys who may not know, if there's anybody here who doesn't watch the show, there's a big war going on between the live and the dead. And the Queen of Dragons and the King of the North need you. They need you. They need you to be on for live, not for dead. You know? So you choose, because for the night is dark and full of terrors.
Oh, shit! Oh, my God! Give it up for John Cortez! Yes! Oh, my stars! Wow! I tell you what, and you know, I'm looking forward to the moment when they actually put the ring in the volcano. That's going to be a satisfying moment for me.
Yeah, when
That's
Aslan
different.
the lion comes out, that's a
Yes.
good. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'm excited. Yeah, and they kill the lion on the altar.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All
good.
right. Yeah. This bitch is confused. I am. Guys, beautiful. So Shayna and Dustin, any questions from Team Death?
I have one comment. What is dead may never die. If we're talking Game of Thrones.
All right.
But for the paleontologists, when they are looking up, you know, when they're doing trying to figure out how did dinosaurs live and stuff like that, they look towards the living. They look towards birds. They look
true.
towards crocodiles
true.
to see how they may have sounded or looked.
It's true.
Okay.
It's such circular reasoning. Like, we only look at those because they exist because of their predecessors
Yes,
before.
Dustin, we understand.
All right, I have a question.
Not
Now.
about
So,
it.
all right. So at the end, it seemed like you were kind of scared about the idea of death, right? So I'm curious to know, are you more scared of death or the inadequacy of your argument?
Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
It's actually more that I'm excited about life, and I care, and I want life to stay alive.
Yeah.
I respect
Stay
that.
alive.
All right.
My God, this is a lot. It's very spicy up here, and I'm loving it. I'm glad that I'm wearing a skirt that allows a lot of breathability. Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard from Team Alive. Now we are about to see Team Dead. Give it the hell up for Shayna Montanari repping Team Dead!
Hey, everybody. Out here, ready to tell you that being dead isn't so bad after all. Okay. And it's not Halloween. This is just my everyday kind of outfit. So it's fine. So anyway, okay. So on Earth right now, there are 1.5 million species that have been described by scientists. And if that seems like a lot to you, there's actually probably 10 times more that haven't even been described yet. And you're like, okay, that's kind of a lot. But you're not thinking about deep time, which is what we paleontologists love to talk about. Deep time. We say it all the time. It's not sexual at all. And you might not know this, but 99.9% of every species that has ever lived in the 4.6 billion year history of our planet is dead. And okay, you know, that doesn't sound great, but actually it is great, because without all those dead species in 500 million years of vertebrate evolution and all these cool key innovations that have popped up, like spines and jaws, we wouldn't have us. So that's great. And as a paleontologist, I kind of disagree with my opponent was saying about how things that are dead can't inspire you, because this dinosaur fossil right here is cool as fuck, and I don't think anyone's gonna deny that. And of course I'm gonna talk about dinosaurs. And just because a lot of animals are dead, you know, and that's important because otherwise we wouldn't be alive, but also they're cool as fuck. This is the fighting dinosaurs, if you've ever seen these before. They're from Mongolia's Gobi Desert. It's a protoceratops, which is the guy on top with the frill, and a velociraptor that were found fossilized like this.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I know.
That's right,
Whose side are
Meg.
you
That-
on, Meg?
I wept a little bit when I saw the jaguar.
Yeah,
Anyway,
this
go
is,
ahead.
I know. So exactly. So this is really inspiring. And to see the way that animals lived, 80 million years ago is incredible. And that's one of the amazing things that we can find out about studying dead things. And, you know, dinosaurs, if you like dinosaurs and you're like, okay, yeah, but like, what have they done for me lately? Well, Who likes
great question.
birds? We wouldn't have cool-ass birds like bald
You're
eagle.
welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys.
Bald eagle is alive, right?
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have them
Confirmed.
without.
Just making sure.
All right.
We'll go back. We wouldn't have them without dinosaurs, specifically the velociraptors, most closely related to birds. Anyway, okay. Other cool animals that we all enjoy. These are some relatives of, well, maybe you can guess. So this guy on the bottom, do you want, no, Dustin, you can't guess. The guy on the bottom is called Pachycetus. And the guy on the top is Ambulocetus. So these are two relatives of an animal that now lives in the ocean. So basically, they decided, 385 million years ago, we're gonna walk on the land, become, early relatives of humans, cool. And then these guys were like, fuck land, we are going back into the water now. And then we were going to make all of our limbs shorter again, and some reason make the pelvis super tiny.
Is it my step-grandmother?
It's...
No? All right.
I hope not. And become whales.
Oh,
So whales have a really cool evolutionary history of being land animals, much like hippos. And as they slowly kind of became more aquatic, they became whales that we know today, which are the biggest living animals. So we wouldn't have these really cool living animals without dead things.
But they were alive at some point.
All right.
Yes,
I'll bend over and get
that's
that card
true.
if I need to.
So that's cool about fossils. Like, I'm a paleontologist. I'm not just going to stand up here and be like, okay, the only reason, dead's cool is because most things are dead and they're cool fossils. Okay, that's obvious. Let's get to the less obvious points of why being dead is really cool and great and super helpful for the planet. So this is a nice picture of a forest. And you may be thinking, okay, why is she showing me these nice live trees? Well, actually, when they die, they can help prevent climate change. Woo! Yeah. So when any sort of plants die and forests decompose, they become carbon sinks. So everything living is made of carbon. And when it dies, some of that is released as CO2, which gets added to the atmosphere, but a lot of it gets stored in the soil. So the soil has 4 times greater reservoir of carbon dioxide than the atmosphere does. So dead wood, leaf litter, soil, this is all what we call storing carbon or sequestering carbon, keeping it locked underground so it doesn't go into the atmosphere. It's actually really good for our planet. So the more forests that die, then that will help us prevent global warming. Oh, wow. And this is not just true for forests, but this is true in the oceans. Since the oceans take up most of the planet, this is actually a major way that carbon gets stored in the bottom of the ocean when things photosynthesize and die, and they slowly drift to the bottom of the ocean and get locked up in the ocean floor and hopefully stay that way for a very long time. Okay, so that's plants. We can talk a little bit about animals now. You may recognize this scene from a nature documentary, but this is the migration of the wildebeest that happens in the Serengeti every year. So they go on a 1,000-mile loop migration all around to complete their life cycle, and it's just what they do. They feel like it, and it looks kind of fun, but it's dangerous. So actually, a lot of them die on the way, which you're like, well, that seems sad because their whole goal is to reproduce and live longer. But actually, the wildebeest that die, so about 6,000 of them die every year, and that's 2 million pounds of wildebeest that then gets added to the Mara River. This is the weight of 10 blue whales, which is the largest animal that's ever lived. And you're like, well, then what happens? These poor animals are dead. Well, actually, this ecosystem would not exist if not for these dead animals. Their nutrients that come from their decomposition in this river, like their bones, take 7 years to decompose. And that will release an element called phosphorus that is a limited element in most ecosystems, but because of this, the ecosystem gets phosphorus and can flourish.
And Shayna, if anyone would like to see this in person, this is actually very similar to something that you can see in Grand Central of the last train to Jersey.
Yeah, this is the LIRR
very
at 5:45 on a Thursday.
No, we're good.
Yeah.
Someone got it.
No, it was a good joke, Meg. Thanks. Because I was getting really serious, so thank you for that. But this is just really important. So instead of seeing death as something that is scary or unnecessary or you wish it didn't happen, you can think that it's part of a cycle and it's part of something really beautiful and it's part of something that helps this planet continue and has continued for 4.6 billion years. And that's a really amazing thing. And to end, I think I would like to quote a very famous philosopher named Albus Dumbledore, who once said that death is but the next great adventure. Thank you.
Oh my God! Give it up for Shannon Martinari, Team 10! Oh my gosh! Guys, we are seeing so many Lord of the Rings references tonight. This is unbelievable. All right, very nice. All right, we just heard from Team Dead. Team Alive, any questions, clarifications?
I wanna bring up something John brought up earlier about how we can't learn about these dead animals like dinosaurs without studying living animals. So if we didn't have living animals, how would we know about dinosaurs? Like, how would we figure out how they moved? How would we do that? Like, is there a way to possibly understand extinct animals without living animals to help inform us?
How they moved? I mean,
anything.
Yeah.
Other than their bones.
I was going to say you could use their bones, so.
Does anyone else wish that they were just incredibly high right now?
Yeah.
I feel like I would add a whole other level to this if I was just stoned out of my mind.
I'm serious.
Look, you're not wrong, but again, they wouldn't exist if not for evolutionary history. So we've got the evolutionary cred. We've got the numbers in deep time. So I mean, yeah, it's circular, but we're still better at the end.
Oh. Fair enough, fair enough. This paleontologist always talking about that DT. I get it. That's good. I bring the class to the show. Very nice. Anything else, guys?
No, I think we're good.
Beautiful. All right, guys. So now we have heard from both of our experts. Give it up one more time. Yes. All right, guys. It is now my privilege and pleasure to welcome our hype men to present their counter arguments. Please welcome to the stage, repping Team Alive, Zach Bartolucci.
All right, Dustin. Who's closer to death here? You thought I wasn't going to. Just kidding. That was rude. Before I start, I just want to point out that my mom, who's watching the live stream, has been texting me nonstop with update arguments. She's like, well, you could say this in response. She went to the basement to find a picture of me with a butterfly, and I was like, I don't have time. Sorry. I do need to know what I'm talking about, though. Okay, so, Alive. I want to talk about the best movie about alive things. I want to talk about Jurassic Park a little bit. What? Good night, everyone. No, does anybody, what's like the best part of Jurassic Park? Thank you.
Yes.
Jeff fucking Goldblum. He's by far the best part. I mean, okay, the dinosaurs are great. They brought dinosaurs back to life, right? So that's cool. But Jeff Goldblum, also fucking great, especially this moment right here.
Life finds a way.
We're gonna do that again, and Paula, can I blast the sound like really 400%?
Life finds a way.
Yeah. I could just leave it there, but we're not going to. I want to talk about that because he says it so clearly, so succinctly. Life finds a way, okay? Life always finds a way. And my opponents up here, our opponents keep saying that, the things that are alive today wouldn't exist without the things that are already dead. But I would like to point out that those things that are already dead wouldn't exist without life, period. Right? Without the start of life. Life literally found a way to fucking exist before there was anything else on this goddamn planet, okay? Right? Seriously. This is what we call, the study of this is what we call abiogenesis, literally the study of life coming from literally nothing, from inorganic substances, right? Literally the origin of life.
Oh.
In case you needed that spelled out for you. That took me a long time, so ready? Cool. That's the whole show. No, but really, life figured out how to actually create itself before anything alive actually existed. And scientists have been kind of studying this for a very long time. There's no accepted understanding of how life started on our planet. There's lots of different theories, but just recently there was a new study that actually found from a bunch of inorganic material, just stuff that was found on planet Earth, literally a bunch of dead shit. Well, I guess it wasn't dead because there was no life yet, but a bunch of shit, right? It was 2 different chemicals and some UV light. It actually created the building blocks for life that they think turned into all of the life that we have today, right? This all happened way, way, way at the beginning of our ecosystem. Way at the beginning of our solar system, way at the beginning of our universe. That was the word I was looking for. Way at the beginning of the universe, right? It happened when the universe was only about 10 million years old, they think, which is really, really, really long ago, guys. The universe is how old over there?
13.7?
8, we think. 13.8. It's 13.8.
Was that a quiz you just gave us?
Correct. 13.8 billion years old, right? So in the first 10 million years of that 13.8 billion years that we have been around, life figured out how to fucking exist, guys. It started out with just this one little thing that we think was we call it the LUCA, the L-U-C-A, the last common universal ancestor, the thing that led to all of the life that we have. Oh, there we go. I just love that gif. All of the life that we have on the planet today, right? Life created itself, right? And it is, even though it is this very delicate, very precious thing, it figured out how to exist and how to create all the things that we have today. And yes, things are going to die, right? And they will continue to create more life from that death. So I want you guys to keep in mind tonight, as we continue to talk about this, that no matter fucking what, life is going to find a way, okay? Right? We could lose everything on this planet and life will still come back. That's it.
Just so you know, and I think I speak for this woman as well, you will win this thing if you show Jeff Goldblum shirtless right about now, just so you know. Right now? We're all ready. Give it up if you want to see Jeff Goldblum shirtless right now. Yes. No, actually, even better. Give it up for Dustin. You get up. You're doing, I'm sorry. I fucked up. I fucked
so
up.
So close to death.
Give it up for Dustin Growick,
Thanks,
Muppet
man.
Team Dad.
I'm really afraid to advance this because is it going to be Jeff Goldblum?
I don't think
Topless?
so. I think
Maybe?
it's just
no,
this
just
one.
lie now? Just black? Okay.
I did put a lot, but I think that's just it.
Hi, guys. I keep coming back to the idea that, you just put up this entire tree of life, and none of that would be here if it weren't for death.
Life?
The fact that there is death is what gives urgency and importance to life in order to propagate itself and to continue to grow and evolve and change. Without death, there is no change, and everything that ever was just always is exactly like that, which is an incredibly boring existence. That's not what I want to talk about, though. So, when I thought about what I was going to talk about up here, I first actually had this, whoa, that's a carpet. I had this whole idea of using Zach, actually, as an example of somebody who's going through stages of grief to get past the thing, and don't worry, he's out in California living his best life right now. He's great. But I'm not going to do that. And in fact, I thought I would take a page from my friend John's book here and talk about the absolute best place on this planet, the American Museum of Natural History. Woo! Yes. And the reason being is because this place houses some of the most incredible and important dead things to have ever existed in the history of the world. And obviously, if I'm going to tell you which of my favorite 3 are, we have to start with none other than Tyrannosaurus Rex. Reason being, I defy anyone, including you fine fellows, to name a more iconic dead thing than a T-Rex. Right? Of course not. They have a 12,000-pound bite force. Their teeth, which is a giant murder banana right over here, you guys, their teeth were serrated on both edges like a double-sided steak knife. This is a perfect killing machine, and maybe that is why they inspire so much joy and awe from everyone, including Zach Martellucci.
Oh.
It's fake news. It's fake news.
It's very true.
News.
But it's not just Zach. T-Rexes and dinosaurs in general inspire awe and reverence for the natural world in countless generations, getting them excited about learning more about how and why life and death exist in the first place. I mean, who in this room doesn't want to see what a baby T-Rex looks like?
Oh, Floof.
right? But they're dead. Don't worry about it. So that is the first animal that you have to think about when we think about important dead animals. Without dinosaurs and T-Rex, these things are gateway drugs to science. They get people excited about learning more about the natural world. Speaking about learning more, has anyone ever heard of this guy? This is Lesodon. Why the hell am I showing you a giant species of North American extinct ground sloth? Well, it's a good question. For all you fucking millennials in the audience, if you like guacamole and you like avocados, you should thank Lesodon and other giant ground sloths because they were the primary means of seed dispersal for avocados. Without giant animals like this, we would not have avocados or guacamole. And then we hunted them to extinction 10,000 years ago, so they're dead too.
Oh my goodness.
The history of life on Earth is death, guys. I'm sorry. All right, so we got dinosaurs, we got food, but most important, we have our friend right here. This is a model of Lucy. Well, this is a replica of her skeleton. This is a hypothesized model of Lucy. Who is Lucy and why is she important? Lucy is an Australopithecine, which is basically the first human ancestor, about 3.2 million years ago, to habitually walk on two legs. Why that is so crazy and so important, if you think about apes today, like, I was about to say alligators. Like, if you think about apes today, like gorillas and chimpanzees, they can walk up on two legs, but for the most part, they are on four legs. When you only walk on two legs, you free up these guys to do all sorts of things, but more importantly, it totally changes your pelvic structure, which means you're gonna have a narrower birth canal, which means you're going to give birth to babies earlier, babies that are not very well developed, which means you're gonna need a lot more parental investment and investment from the entire community, totally changing the social dynamic, leading literally to us. And if that doesn't convince you, because when you stand upright, that changes your muscles in the back, that is right, Lucy was the first human with ass.
Oh!
Well, not human, but human predecessor.
Sexual.
You like this? You like this? Can we dim the lights a little bit right now? No.
No consent here. Come on.
So clearly I joke about her butt, but honestly, without Lucy and without the countless innumerable forms like her that lived for millions, if not billions of years, we would not understand the past. And without understanding the past, we wouldn't understand the present. And without understanding the present, there's no way we could predict what would happen in the future. It is death that gives life meaning. And without Lucy literally taking the first step, none of us would be here to talk about it. So we should give a shout out to Lucy, and Zach, you should respect your fucking elders, even if they are dead.
Woo! Give it up for Dusty Crow and Team Dead! Yes! Oh my God! Guys, we have heard from both Team Alive and Team Dead, and I have a feeling that some of you are thinking, I have to pee. And if you are, I have good news. We are here at our intermission. Go ahead and use the bathroom. Go ahead and use the bar, but respectfully. Don't just use the bar. Tip those assholes. They deserve it. They're incredible people. Guys, we will be back in just a few minutes where we have a game, where we have audience participation, and finally, most importantly, where we have the vote. We will see you in just a few minutes. Yes! Woo! person in whatever this is. I don't know. It's fine.
You transcend everything, man.
I like to think that I cross all thresholds and push all boundaries.
Whoa.
I don't. Oh, thank you for the whistle. But in reality,
I think that was your brother.
In reality, I just look at the ceiling and think of England, so it's fine. Sorry, that's a... One person got it, and I'm grateful for that. Great, guys, enough about me having sex in front of my poor brother. Never in front of my brother. God, I'm talking about it. Oh, God. I am really fucking this up. Give it up for the people who are not fucking things up. Yes. Oh, my God. All right, so just really quick to check in. Team Alive, how are you guys feeling right now?
I'm feeling great.
Alive.
Alive. I should have
Alive.
answered that way. My
Beautiful.
mom has texted me a lot since then, so I'll keep you updated.
Yes, Team Ted, how you feeling?
Dead inside in a good way?
Yeah, great.
Yes! Dead inside in a good way. It's like me at 14.
Sounds like a White Walker.
Beautiful, guys. So we are all feeling really good on this stage, and we need 2 people to join us in the wonder that is on this stage. That's right. We are about to play an amazing game, and we need 2 audience volunteers. Can I grab some house lights? Go ahead, and also, quick caveat, if you volunteer someone, that means that you want to come up. So go ahead and just come on up. Don't be shy. This is not an embarrassing game.
Come on,
no
this
one
is so
being
easy.
Flattered.
Literally.
Very nice. What? Did my brother volunteer? Yes, he did.
Oh, he did. Oh.
Yes. Oh. He is
That's
so
cute.
cute. Oh, I love it. Very nice, guys. All right, so I have no other blood relatives that I know of in the audience, so I can't force someone. But come on up, guys. Who's
come
gonna
on.
be taking this
This is
bet?
ridiculous.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm ashamed of everyone else here.
Excellent,
Ashamed.
excellent. I know. I
Just
know
kidding.
people
I love
in
you
this
all.
audience. My stars. Give it up for this guy. Yes, very nice. Hi, I'm Meg. What's your name?
Alex.
Alex. Great. Hi,
forgot?
Alex. Very nice. Alex and Will, give it up for our 2 audience volunteers. Yes. All right, guys. So what we are going to do, if we can have the 2 hype men stand together, and if we can have our 2 guests here in the middle, if you will. Alec, come on over here. Shayna, you'll be right next over here. Very nice. I made that confusing, as I often do. Alec, you're doing great, but never in front of me. All right. Anyway, sorry. Trying to sound all Sunset Boulevard over here. All right, guys, beautiful. So what we are about to do is we are going to be playing a game. And that game is Beautiful Animal, Is It Alive? That's not the name of the game, but that's the name I just gave it. And so what we are about to do in a moment, oh yes, are these animals wanted? Wanted, dead or alive? AKA extinct or still around. Y'all can go ahead and have a seat, pop a little squat here, make yourselves comfortable. Yes, please sit on these stools. Very nice. So what we are about to do, we have 3 teams here. We've got our experts, we've got our volunteers, and we have our hype men. And in just a moment, we are about to see beautiful illustrations of animals that somebody painted or carved or did whatever in the yesteryear. If you guys talk, you won't know what's happening. Anyway, sorry.
Shut up, brother.
Oh, you hush. I get to tell him that. Will, you're doing great. Okay. Anyway, so in just a moment, we are going to see an animal, and it is going to be up to each team to decide, are they extinct or not? So write the word yes for extinct, no for not extinct. Again, that's yes for extinct, no for not extinct. Okay, great. I probably really fucked that up. Let's all remember that. Great. Okay, so yes for extinct, no for not extinct. In just a moment, we are going to see our first animal, and Javan rhinoceros. Yes for extinct, no for not extinct. All right, everybody. And what? You're doing great, audience member. Yes, work together. Yes. Work together. All right. And guys, on the count of 3, we will see yes or no extinct. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, write it down, guys. Yes. All right. And Javan rhinoceros, 3 yeses. Yes, it is extinct.
Oh, it's alive.
Guys, we have a fun rule here at Versus, where the first time that we play any game, I fuck up the instructions. Why not continue the tradition? So I'm so sorry. I want you guys to write if it is alive or not. So write the word alive or write the word not.
Bon Jovi
alive.
is
Thank you.
dead.
Alec got it. Give it up. Every damn time, Diana, and I'm sorry. All right, let's move on. Fuck the Javan rhinoceros and its alive little self. All right, the great auk. Is it alive or not? Remember to collaborate. It's got a beak. It's got dots. It's doing its best on a rock. All right, guys, we're going to count to 3. Great auk, alive or dead? Count with me. 1, 2, 3. Dead, extinct, alive. What is it?
We ate the fuck out of them.
Extinct. All right.
They're like chickens of the
Quick
garden.
sidebar. Unless I'm mistaken this with a different extinct species of penguin, there was like 2 left, and a guy went to the beach and just punched it to death,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
ate it.
Oh my
Someone
God.
fact check him, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, humans are terrible. All right, ladies and gentlemen, R.I.P. Great Auk, let's see the next animal, the European mink. Ladies and gentlemen, don't put this on a hat because you might not be able to. Is it alive or is it dead? Also, don't wear fur, obviously. All right, guys, European mink, alive or extinct? All right, audience, if you will, count with me. 1, 2, 3. Dead, alive, alive, exclamation point. All right, and what is it? European mink is alive. Very nice. Little known fact, the European mink is known for climbing into crevices and making a burrow inside the walls of your homes. But only in Europe, so it doesn't matter. That's not true. That's not an animal fact. That's why I'm never an expert. Ladies and gentlemen, another animal. What is it? The Tulachi wallaby. The Tulachi wallaby with tiny little gloved hands.
What voice are you doing right now, Meg?
The Tulachi wallaby. Guys, it's got tiny little hands and feet and a whole lot of fluff. Is it alive? We hope so, because it's damn cute. All right, everybody. While everyone figures it out, let's count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Dead, extinct, extinct, and it is extinct. Give it up. Oh, man. Little known fact, when the Tulachi wallaby was alive, it used to hug angels. And now it can do it in heaven, because they're all dead. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next one, the Schomburg's deer. Schomburg's deer. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Schomburg's deer. Alive or dead? I don't know, but check out that rack. Let's all look at it and figure it out. What could it be? Do you enjoy hunting? I don't. Fantastic. All right, audience, let's count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Is it alive or dead? Extinct? All extinct? What do we say, judges? It is extinct! Yes! Oh my goodness! Schomburg's deer. The finest venison, but not anymore. All right. Seychelles parakeet is dead.
It's dead.
All right, extinct! And that point goes to our volunteers. Give it up. The angel shark. It's no saint. Is it alive or is it dead? We don't know. Maybe I saw them at the aquarium, but I don't know because of all the sticky little 5-year-olds. Wonderful. All right, everybody. And count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Alive, alive, alive. And is it? Judges, it is alive. Yes. Beautiful. All right, and I think that black screen means it's over. Everyone give it up. Yes. Judges, who was our winner? Oh, is it Meg? Meg is the winner. No, but for real, and that was great. Killing it in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited because we have some fun folks in this audience. Although you didn't volunteer for the game, you're still very fun. And so what we're about to do right now is we are going to take this to the streets of our audience. That's right, Zach and Dustin are about to take out the mics, and we want to hear from you, alive versus dead. Who are you repping this evening? So in just a moment, Zach and Dustin are going to stand on up. Stand up now, I don't give a fuck. Stand up now. Now, what is about to happen is a couple quick rules. One, please say your name and tell us who you're repping and say why. Keep it very short. This isn't a time for questions. So save those questions for after the show. Also, if you talk too long, I'll cut you off and it'll be uncomfortable and I really hate it. So please keep it real brief. We don't need to hear a dissertation. It's okay. All right, guys, who's gonna be telling who the fuck they repping tonight? Yes, we got one over there. Woo!
Hello, sir. What is your name?
Yochanan.
Yes.
That's a fabulous name. Who are you repping?
Dead things.
Yeah.
My first memory of science ever was bawling my eyes out in terrifying craziness of seeing my first T-Rex at the Australian Natural History Museum. And now I love science, so it's all because of that.
Yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah. Woo,
Hell
thank
yes.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Amazing. Amazing. You never forget your first dinosaur. That is true. All right, guys, who else we got?
He was 25.
That's
Bawling
fair.
his eyes out.
That's fair. That's fair. Listen, I know some homeschoolers that don't believe that dinosaurs exist, so it's okay.
Dinosaurs are
No,
real.
that's not true, but it's complicated. All right, who else do we have? I know we have someone else.
I
with
got
an
one.
opinion.
I got one.
Oh, yes.
So what's your name?
Phil,
And who are you repping tonight?
alive.
Yeah. Woo!
Can I
Phil,
take-
you're
okay.
amazing.
Oh, no, okay, you keep it. Okay. So whenever NASA comes out and they're like, "Oh, we found another planet," like, what's your first question?
Is there life?
Yes, is there life? That's what I care about. I don't care about another element on your floating rock. What's the point? I care if something's gonna kill us all.
Yeah.
Oh.
As do we
That took a turn.
all.
Phil,
I like
Phil, Phil,
Beautiful.
Phil.
Oh, shoot, we got one up here in the audience.
I got it.
Just right up here in the
All
front.
right, what's your name?
My name is Hannah.
And who are you repping tonight?
Dead. Yeah. I say my reason now. Okay.
Now's your time. Yes?
I scared you, and I'm sorry.
Okay. It's okay. Not all alive things are good, like viruses and bacteria. And you need to, and vaccines, you need to kill or attenuate the living viruses to develop so we can develop defenses. So not all good things are, and not all alive things are good. And then, yep.
Yes!
Hannah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's the end of audience representation. Dustin and Zach, come on back.
all right.
Dustin and Zach, come on back. Give it
Yeah,
up one more
all right.
time. Yeah. Very nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have heard from our amazing audience. We have heard from our amazing experts and our hype men. We are about to hear one more time for some closing statements from those hype men. Folks, this is going to be the last time you'll hear from Team Alive and Team Dead. It is now or never. You are going to make your decisions as soon as you hear these arguments. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, repping Team Alive, Zach Bartolucci.
No, well, she sent us a lot of texts. Me, a lot of texts. We'll get to my mom.
I already did.
The whole thing, the whole show tonight just really showed me, and I just want to reiterate this one more time, is that life literally is the whole reason death exists. So death could not exist without life, right? Life is the thing that started it all. It's the reason we all exist, and it's the reason we can enjoy this experience tonight. The reason we can have the feelings we have, love the people we love, fight against the people we hate. Just kidding. I love you. Sometimes. But death, on the other hand, well, death is one of the scariest things out there, right? There's a reason zombie movies are fucking terrifying, right? Like dead things coming back to life, right? Like it's fucking terrifying because we have our entire lives, the whole existence of life has been created essentially so that we fight against death, right? We find a way to survive. We reproduce so that we can overcome death and we can continue to live here on this planet. So I want you guys to keep that in mind tonight. And if that doesn't help convince you, I do have one final text from my mom. Actually, the last one goes, "Are you sure you don't want me to look for that picture?" No, Mom. I do want to show you one last picture. She sent me one in the middle of the show. My sister is pregnant. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a life growing in there. And I don't know about you, but that's the most magical thing in the whole fucking world. We don't say, "Oh, look at that dead thing in there." No, we say, "Look at that fucking live thing," right? It's alive. It is amazing. And if you don't vote for life tonight, then that's okay.
Woo! All right, give it up for Zach and Team Live. Team Alive.
Thanks,
Yes.
Mom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, repping Team Dead, Dustin Growick.
Thanks, man. Zach, I also got a text from your mom. No, look. It just says, "You up?" No. All right.
She texted back,
Your mom is
"Fuck
an
you."
angel. I love her.
But I got that text too.
Oh, she actually
damn.
was complimenting you, I will say. Just put that out there. Just put that out there.
All right, you guys coming back next month for Zach's mom versus the field. That is verse. We'll see what happens. You guys, so we've heard some great arguments tonight. I was honored to join the stage with you fine gentlemen, and you, Meg, and you, Shayna, obviously. But you guys, if you want to talk numbers game, Shayna mentioned this. 99.9% of everything that has ever existed, all life forms, are extinct. Right? They're no longer here. They're dead. So if you want to go just simply numbers, we have way better stuff that way. Also, it's just easier to be dead. Right? You guys tried paying rent? If you paid attention to politics? Like, just dead is just simpler, right? It's much easier. No, but honestly, I keep coming back to the idea. It's an argument. Have you been dead? No. You will be, though.
I'm
you will
alive.
be, because inevitably that is what happens. And I keep coming back to the idea that without death, life is just life. There's no urgency, there's no progress, there's no change, and there's no meaning. Without death, literally, there's no meaning for life. The point of death is actually to support and propagate life. I don't know what the meaning of life is. I haven't really heard it articulated. I don't know personally what it is. And, I keep coming back to the idea that we have a presidential election coming up soon, and there are approximately 1,000 candidates running currently, right, in the Democratic Party.
Why are you bringing
And I think,
that up?
I'm bringing this up very specifically because we don't know the purpose of life. And I could not stand up here in good conscience and vote for a candidate who's not clearly articulated their message. The purpose of death is to support life. I still don't know what the purpose of life is. That's why you have to vote Team Death.
Oh, wow. Give it up one more time, Team Dead. Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much. All right, my sweet young friends, the time has come, says this walrus, to vote. So we have dead, we have alive, and what you are about to do right now is you are going to vote. So I want you guys to all go ahead and make up your minds now. Don't feel like you have to I don't really know, just go ahead and decide now, friends, because there are a lot of you, and I want to get all of your votes. Anyway, so what's about to happen is I'm going to be collecting these votes, then we will put them in the scales of justice and determine the winner. In the meantime, Zach and Dustin, if you will, please stand up. You're going to take us through our trivia, and there's been a lot of mamby-pamby, mumbo-jumbo, you guys being a little mean to each other tonight. And I speak for Zach's mom and me
Hi, Zach's mom.
when I say, I want you guys to say something nice about each other's moms. That's not sexual.
Oh, that's
Love your mom.
I'm not interested in how much you want to bone each other's moms.
Oh, no.
It's not sexual.
Dustin, the thing I love about your mom is that every time she comes to the show, she's just a huge dick to me. Yeah, she's takes your side from the second she walks in the door, and then once the show's over, she's like the sweetest human being in the entire world. But she's like, you're fucking going down. I'm always like, wow,
Yeah.
Mrs. Growick, I'm so sorry.
We're competitive people.
So sorry.
Zach, your
Great,
mom is
though.
incredibly friendly. Every time I talk to her or text with her late at night, she just encouraging words. No, I really do love your mom. If it wasn't for your mom, you wouldn't be here. What?
texted.
All right.
I'm sorry. She said, OMG, I'm crying here. Continue.
Very nice. Guys, go ahead and take
All right,
us
yeah, let's
through
do
that
trivia.
trivia.
Do you have the
Let's get
clicker?
these votes.
Sure, yes. Clicker.
We're gonna do trivia right now.
Is anyone feeling especially confident about their trivia answers?
Hi, guys. Dead and alive.
All right, we're gonna go through trivia questions. Our first question is mine. What 1931 movie first used the line "It's alive" in cinematic history? Yeah, it's just called Frankenstein. Very simple. Just Frankenstein. 1931. It's a big deal.
Question 2. In Mexico, Dia de Muertos isn't actually a day. It starts on October 31st and lasts through which date? What? I heard it over here. November 2nd. 3 days.
Question number 3. All right. There are over 100 definitions for life. Which large U.S. organization defines it as a self-sustaining chemical system capable of Darwinian evolution? There's only one big U.S. Group that has I'd put this out there as their definition for life. Anybody? No, it's not the Department of Agriculture. Think bigger. You talked about it, Phil, kind of.
Is it NAMBLA?
Yeah, it's NASA.
It's NASA?
Yeah, NASA. That's NASA's definition. A self-sustaining. I think it's NASA. Click next. I wrote these a while ago. Yeah, it's NASA. Woo. Yeah,
It's
that's
NASA.
a good definition, though.
For sure. All right, question 4, guys. Which species is believed to be the first to bury their dead? Elephants do not bury their dead, but thank you. That's good.
They mourn
Really?
their dead.
They
mourn
they
their
dig
dead.
a hole and they put their dead in it, and then they cover it.
Let's just move on.
Really?
I think they mourn their dead.
Is that real?
I think they
That's
mourn their
insane.
dead. Did you not fact check your answers?
I meant
Wow.
like human. All right, it's Neanderthals. There's evidence Neanderthals buried their dead. I guess I should have put the first human predecessor
That was Dustin's
that
fault.
did that. What's fascinating about
Question
elephants.
5. How many species do we estimate to be on Earth right now? Is it A, up to 14 million, B, up to 110 million, or C, up to 1 billion species? Nobody has any answers here. It's, go for it, Dustin. I believe it's A. Yeah, 14 billion. Million.
That's it.
Million.
That's the max?
Thank you. You got it over here. Oh, you said it.
President Andrew Jackson's pet parrot, Polly, A+ alliteration there, was removed from his funeral for doing what? Eating the corpse. No, what? What? Swearing. Foul-mouthed parrot.
I mean, that's great.
That's pretty great.
All right, question.
Also, who brings a parrot to a funeral? But that's a whole nother conversation.
Question 7, true or false? This should be an easy one. It's 50-50. The total live biomass on Earth is about 550 to 560 billion tons of carbon, or about the same mass as 3.5 Mount Everests worth.
It's a lot of math for a false. You know?
Anybody? It's true. This math took me days to figure out, all right? Well, Mount Everest is big.
It's large. It's large.
3.5. It's a lot of life.
This French expression means the brief loss of weakening of consciousness or the sensation of post-orgasm as likened to death. Oh, look at all you sexy,
Wow.
sexy motherfuckers.
Nice.
Yep.
Le petit mort. Question 9. Which culture believes that life after death includes weighing your heart against the feather of truth and justice? Yeah, the ancient Egyptians, they did that. You had to bring your heart, put it next to a feather. Afterlife.
Boop. You know what a feather's from? Dinosaur. Okay. Who's the lead singer of Death Cab? No, it's clearly Will Forte.
It's not Will Forte.
It's not Will Forte. It's this guy, Ben Gibbard.
Well done.
Zach, are you ready for the Bobus question?
Yes, this is my favorite question.
They're clapping like that was it. No,
No, we got a
There's always a
Bobus.
Bobus question.
What kind of life first appeared about 470 million years ago during the mid-Ordovician era? And that's the night, everyone. Good night. No, I actually don't know. Oh, I do know. I do know. I forgot. It's plants.
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 Yeah.
Plants.
Pretty
Meg,
important.
are we
pretty
ready?
important.
Oh, wait,
All right.
no, wait, I'm sorry.
No, we have.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, sorry, we went a little slow. We have.
Ooh, a
We have a
tie.
tie, in fact, between two teams here. So I'm going to ask. Once I read the names of these two teams, I want one representative from each team to come up here. We're going to do a quick
Unprecedented.
a quick rock paper scissors to see, the most legit way.
It's never quick. You're right.
One rock paper scissors. So I need a
Are they good
representative
team names, at
from.
least?
They're okay. From not Nature's Champions. Woo! And one from.
Saw what? Say what?
Who's that?
Saw what? Say what?
Yes, we need one
Saw
from
what?
each
Owl
team.
team? Yeah, the
All
Saw
right.
what? No, saw what? Say what? I don't.
All right, we need one from each team. Oh, nice. Come on up here. Stand right here. Other team member
Travis?
in the
Are
middle.
you
No,
Travis?
come into the middle. Justin, step off to the side. All right, these are the rules. It's rock, paper, scissor, and then shoot. Okay, you do it. Oh, just to be clear, that's how we do it on the East Coast. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Everyone got that? Some people don't know it and they throw it in a weird time. All right, ready? Go for it.
Team Saw what? Say what?
Congratulations, Saw Wet, Say What. Saw Wet, Say What. Our producer will be by to get you
You want
guys.
to tell them what that name means?
There's a northern saw-whet owl, and they're like this big, and they're so cute.
Adorable.
I just love that.
Really
I believe
adorable.
your Twitter photos.
Yeah, my thing across the top of my Twitter. What do you
is
call
with the
that?
Saw what owl.
Doesn't matter.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
Thanks,
name
Tina.
is Remington. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Let's
Let's do this.
Congrats, guys. Well done.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Give it up one more time for both of our trivia winners. Yes. Incredible. Guys, I am very excited. What we are about to do is determine the winner of Alive versus Dead tonight. However, all of you were competing for another challenge, a challenge that you didn't even know that you were competing for, and that is the Meg's Gold Star Award. Now, I give this to my favorite audience member, someone that I feel has really been incredible, and I am delighted this evening, of course, to give it to none other than my soul sister right here. Can I have your name?
I was like nepotism.
Chloe, I'm Meg.
I really thought.
I know, I love you too. Please accept this 15% off on first online order from Remedy Diner. Yeah.
Congratulations.
It is delightful. What? I'm so sorry. They get shittier and shittier, and I apologize, Chloe. They used to be really great gifts, and now you get that piece of cardboard. I'm so sorry. But a big old chunk of my heart. All right, guys, let us go ahead, if you will, and flank one more time like we did last summer. If you will, go ahead and rise up. Team Dead, Team Alive. I have Team Alive here. I have Team Dead. Beautiful. Guys, it all comes down to this. And what we are about to do is have our hype men go ahead and pour. But in just a moment, I want you guys to please look at the audience. Look at your experts. Look at each other. Now, of course, look at me for reassurance. You guys are great. Beautiful. If you will, Zach and Dustin, pour those casks. I don't know what they are. It's fucking just do it. All right, beautiful. And the winner is Dan! Yes, give it up! Yes! Beautiful. You guys killing it. Give it up one more time for Team Alive! Yes! Oh my God! Guys, I think as my brother, who's much cooler than me, would say, this show was pretty lit. Yeah? That he'd say it because it's true. I'm hip. But guys, I want to talk very quickly about someone who's even hipper than me, and we are celebrating her birthday tonight. If you will, give it up in the tech booth, Paula Pickering! Yes! Woo! Paula, you are amazing. If we could all sing happy birthday to Paula one time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday, dear Paula. You're so cool. Happy birthday to you. Yes! Oh, man. Guys, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes Versus is we will see you back here on May 11th. Until that time, remember the immortal words of Cardi B and make sure to bust down, Tatiana.
Zach is announcing.
My mom's gonna be here, guys. Yeah! Yeah! She'll have a lot of comments. So.
Remember the immortal words of Cardi B and bust down, Tatiana, this evening. Guys, my name is Meg Pearson. You guys are the audience. Have a good night and make good choices.